Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ladies Room Talk Show. I'm Clarissa Kenty, your Kingdom Concierge. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful day today. It was beautiful. I really thought it was going to storm today, but it didn't. I mean, it was a little overcast there, here and there, but for the most part, it's beautiful. Had a nice little breeze coming through, so I enjoyed that too. So it was really a fantastic day. I had a very successful day, a very productive day. I love days like that. Sometimes you can be so busy and not doing anything, but baby, I was busy and I was doing some things. So it was really good. And you know what? You'll probably hear about it here pretty soon. So kudos to me. How about that? Let me give myself a hand clap. Well, I want to give a big shout out to everybody from last week. Listen, I had a full week last week. I think I told you this earlier, but I started off my week on Sunday with Big D, the General. She had an amazing fashion show, D Games, and it was nice. I was one of the judges for that, and I had to be secretive about that until the day of the show, so I couldn't really announce it until it happened and afterwards. But D, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. There were some really amazing models, awesome designers, and wonderful clothing designers. I mean, it was really good. We had top of the line people who were there, and they really did a fantastic job. Also want to give a big shout out to DJ Strict. I was on a panel discussion with DJ Strict, and this was focusing on media in ministry. Oh my goodness. We had ministers and pastors bring their team all the way from Selma, Alabama. We had people flying in from different states who came in. Why? Because they want to elevate the live stream and their media department as a whole. And if you weren't there, you missed out on so much amazing information. I was blessed to be on a wonderful panel with some really great guys here in this area. And the keynote speakers, Malcolm and Torian, which were really good. And then a gentleman from, I think it's Oakwood University Church. He was a keynote. He was really good. And of course, DJ Strict himself, great wealth of knowledge. And what we talked about was a lot of things. So I hope that Strict is going to do this again so that we can get more people and more churches in the building. It was a 2-day event, and we covered a lot in 2 days. We even covered how to generate more volunteers. And then we talked about what does that look like? How do you get the volunteers? How do you get them committed? How do you train them? And how do you get them to work and also do ministry at the same time? So I'm telling you, if you missed that conference and you really want to elevate your production in your church, that was the event to go to. That was a 2-day event, and I was the only girl on that panel. I tell you what, I represented the girls, though I tried my best. So we had a good time again, and they treated me like a queen. So it was really good. Also, a big shout out to Latoya for the Full Figure Fashion Week. That was a great show as well. This whole week was just full of amazing fashion. And so I had an opportunity of opening up the fashion show with prayer. So that was really good. I enjoyed doing that. That was fun. I also had an opportunity to be at the Diamonds and Pearls Women's Conference, and that was hosted by Dr. Teresa Ragland. And listen, honey, those ladies brought the fire and the thunder at that conference. It was powerful. It was anointed. And I had an opportunity to host that panel discussion. So I had a very full and powerful week, but it was really good. And I had a really nice time. And then also I would be remiss if I didn't give a big shout out and a big hats off to Deborah Alexander. Deborah was my guest on last week, and she had a 24-hour beauty-a-thon. 24-hour beauty-a-thon. So I had to go and support my girl. I was in the building. I wasn't there at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, but I was there. I think my daughter came at around 6 or 7, maybe 8 o'clock. And so we came, and it was already a line of people waiting for services. They were doing hair, braids, weave, cuts, nails, facials, eyebrows, you name it, it was done. The vendors were great. They had the food trucks out there and had collard greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, fried fish, Rubens. I mean, it was in there. It was just so nice. And it was from 5:30 p.m. that Friday night to 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. And Deborah did not take a nap at all. She stayed up for 24 hours straight. For that, I am impressed. I mean, if she did that, I would have left them about around 10 o'clock personally. I at least had to take a nap, but it was good. It was great. And it was well attended. So I want to say thank you to you, Birmingham. I want to thank you for those people who came from Tennessee, from Georgia. They came to the 24-hour beauty-a-thon. Why? Because they never heard anything like that. And number two, it was a fundraiser for that school. That school created a fundraiser to help young people and people alike to be able to go to school and get their beauty hairdressing license. I think it's how you call it, certification, the license. And so to become licensed hairdressers. And let me tell you, it was good. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for coming out, because not only did you come out and have a good time, but you're really helping people be able to get into their career path and be successful in it. And all because of you and what you did. So Deborah, honey, that was nice. Very, very nice. So kudos to you. It was really great. And I'm certainly looking forward to that as well. Let's see if I have anything going on this week. Oh, no, I have a nice slow week this week. So I'm excited about that. But I have some other things going on that I probably won't post about. But I'm always busy. I'm always staying busy. So guys, listen, we have a good show here tonight. If you saw the caption talks about calling all caregivers. Now, if you're on this live, share it. Stop right now. Go ahead and share this live on your network. Share it on your post. Share it on your profile. Why? Because there are so many people out here who are either caregivers now, were caregivers, or will be caregivers at some point in time in their lives. And so this is for you. And then, hey, all of us know someone who is a caregiver. I know somebody right now that's a caregiver. So we all know people who are caregivers as well. So go ahead and share this live. And as you're doing that, I'm going to bring to the Ladies Room Talk Show. This is her first time, and we certainly hope it will not be her last. We're going to bring to the Ladies Room tonight, Jessica Miller with Senior Helpers. How you doing, Jessica?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm excited about you being here because my heart is for the elderly. I've always
Likewise.
been drawn to that. I've just always been drawn to the elderly because I always see that there's a need. I see how some people throw our elderly citizens to the curb because they feel like there's no relevance. And if you're blessed to live long enough, one day we're all going to be at that point in our lives, and we'll be blessed to have someone that can help us and have something like senior helpers involved that can help assist and care and to make sure that they have the best care possible. So let's talk a little bit about what you do and what Senior Helpers is all about. Shafonda, hey lady, good evening. Thanks for popping in.
Yes. So, Senior Helpers is a non-medical in-home care company. So we provide an array of services. As I tell people, we're kind of like a one-stop shop. So we can do a little bit of everything. We can do the personal care. Someone needs assistance with, bathing, dressing, grooming. They have mobility issues. We can do companion care. So that is also a very wide range of services that I don't think people knows is inclusive of things like running errands for you, getting you to and from doctor's appointments, light housekeeping, meal prep, making sure that you have those medication reminders so that you're actually taking the medications when you should and the correct dosage of that. And in addition to that, we can do respite stays. So that's just, the family where the caregiver needs a break from those services. As you mentioned, if they are the primary caregiver and they just want to, have that physical and mental break that they desire, we can assist them with that, whether that's a couple of days, a week at a time. So again, we are, as I say, a one-stop shop. So we can do whatever I feel that the family needs at that time. We can assist them and, create a personalized care plan that is geared towards them and not what we need because they're the ones that actually need the help.
Jessica, I'm thinking back to when my husband and I were caregivers to my mother-in-law. And so she's passed away about a year and a half ago now. And so I remember some of the things that the assistance that we needed with her. One of the things was something like we may need a break, and it may not need to be any consistent help, but we needed something like maybe we want to go out of town for a family vacation, but we couldn't go because we couldn't leave her alone by herself. So that would be that time where we would, hey, let's call senior helpers and see
Yes,
if they
ma'am.
her for the time that we're gone. May not be consistent help, but we may need to kind of come in and out. Do you offer those types of services?
We do. We do in and out. So you can have, a couple of hours a day or a week, or you can get a 24/7 around the clock. So we are all things in between that. Whatever you need, we create that personalized care plan for you.
Hmm. Hmm. Let me see here. I want to go because do have some more questions, but I want to address this. Regina's talking. This is my cousin, and she said that Granny is in the early stage of dementia. This is timely. So there again, I have a cousin caregiving, and so my mother-in-law had that early stage of dementia, but it did not progress. She didn't pass from dementia; she passed from COPD. And so we were able to kind of slow up that process. So, what type of care do you have for people who are caregivers for their parents who are a dementia? Because it pulls at you on different stages. It pulls at you because you have to have the care overall because they forget to do certain things. But then it pulls on you because you're looking at someone where you remember how they used to be and you
Mhm.
remember in their best day, their heyday, and now they're having a few challenges with remembering current events. And so what type of care do you provide for that?
So yes, Senior Helpers actually has a program called Senior Gems that is basically geared around that process of Alzheimer's and dementia. So we go through the actual normal aging process, so what that looks like prior to someone, having dementia, and then into the latter stages of dementia. So how to respond to those individuals, what you should and should not do. One of the biggest things is kind of getting into their world and asking for permission to do things as opposed to just taking matters into your own hands and doing those because you feel that they don't understand or they're not able to answer those questions. And then there's actually a new program out that a lot of people I don't think know about, but it's called the Medicare Guide Program. So here recently, CMS is actually giving funds about $2,500 to $2,600 for the year for a respite stay, is what they're calling it. So the family members, the primary caregiver, for someone that has a dementia diagnosis and they have traditional Medicare Part A and B, they could qualify for the Medicare Guide program and actually get that respite stay, use those services for that loved one that they have. So that is a program that senior helpers also assist individuals with. It's a very simple process on our end. Once we get basic demographic information about that individual, I can actually go into the system and tell you in real time if that person qualifies for the CMS Medicare Guide program.
Okay, very good. So you
If it for dementia.
in order for them to get various services from you, they have to meet a certain qualification. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, because we don't do skilled services. So, we're not like the home health companies that have the nurses coming in. Um, our employees are primarily caregivers. So, they're not skilled nurse. They can't do home care, ostomy bags, those type of things. So we are limited on some things that we can offer. We are partnered, with home health and hospice companies that we can get you to the appropriate company if we're not able to cover all of those needs.
Okay, very good. And so the services that you offer, can insurance pay for this or Medicaid or Medicare or any of these types of services?
I've seen Medicare only with the Medicare Guide program here recently. The service is primarily private pay, but I have seen success with Humana recently of individuals actually getting home care services through Humana. There's a program called Helper Bees that I have had several clients have success, and Humana is paying for those services for them. If an individual has a long-term care insurance policy, those typically assist with covering home care costs as well. And then veterans. So there's an aid and attendance program. Of course, there are specific qualifications for that, but the veteran wants to look into that. The spouse can also benefit from that as well. So a lot of people don't know that the spouse could also benefit. So unfortunately, the veteran has passed away. As long as that spouse has never remarried, they can also look into getting those aid and attendance benefits.
I love it. So that's good information to know, especially as a caregiver with both parents, still
Mhm.
alive. And that's something that's really, really good to know. I was wondering with the Humana, I think some people sleep on Humana that
Mhm.
you're eligible for it, but because you have this other insurance, it's like you sleep on it. And so can we talk? I know you may not be a Humana representative, but but can we talk a little bit about those
What process?
services that are free that you
Yes.
can get if you are eligible for a Humana? It's so much.
So, so one of my clients actually educated me on the coverage that is through Humana because she wanted to come on private pay, but she said, "Well, if my insurance is going to pay for it, I need to let my insurance do a little work too."
Right.
So jokingly, she said, "If you're looking at the booklet that Humana sent you, it's on page 32." She was very specific. So
Oh,
if you go to page 32, it gives you some information, but it's actually a very simple process. You don't need a physician referral. The nurse doesn't have to call. You can simply call Humana yourself and ask them about your home care benefits under helper bees. So you have to be very specific because that is the department that covers the home care services. So you see if you qualify for that. If you do, they will just have you to speak with the case manager, ask you a few questions of the services that you feel that you need assistance with at home, and then they'll get an authorization out to a home care company. If you don't have a preference of one, they'll send it out to a company for you to start utilizing those benefits. So it's actually a very simple process that I've seen with Humana. It's not as cumbersome as some people may think. They actually make it a little easy
okay.
for you to navigate. So the client, the actual member themselves can call Humana, inquire about home care services through Helper Bees, and they will take it from there. So it's very simple.
Yeah, very simple, guys. Listen, if you have Humana or if you are caregiving for someone who has it, don't sleep on that service. It's I'm telling you, they offer so many things that you would not even think about um,
Hmm.
that they're offering, and sometimes you may not think you need it until you find out it's offered, and then you realize you need it. And so it's just very important to get that. You mentioned something I think about bathing service.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is under our personal care. So we can assist individuals, with getting a shower or getting in and out of the shower. Maybe they don't actually physically need you to bathe them. Stepping into the shower becomes an issue. So we want
Okay.
to ensure safety at all times. So we can help, get them in and out. They can, have all of the basic necessities of it. We can actually help with bathing them if they need that assistance. But yes, ma'am, we do help with bathing.
Okay. Because I knew that was one of the things that we definitely needed help with, and we had people to come in from time to time to help and assist with that. And then, the older they get, their skin gets really thin
Hmm.
and very
Yes.
delicate. So there's not a need for them to really bathe every single day, meaning to submerge into water
Right.
because
Right.
it dries your skin out. But it's very good to know that you have people who are skilled that can get them in the tub, because there's like these almost like a little cradle type thing that you can sit them in and lower them down into the tub, bathe them and pull them back up. It's good to know that you have people that are skilled to do this. And see, because
Yes.
somebody like me, I might try to go and do that. She might slip out of my hands or might pull a muscle out of my back, because I may not be doing it in the right way. And so I do remember a lady I worked with years ago. She was a caregiver to her husband until he passed. And she was like, Clarissa, I got varicose veins in my legs from lifting him and turning him and doing all of these things, where I feel like somebody like senior helpers could have really stepped in to assist in some of that help.
Yes, ma'am. We actually have a center of excellence at our office. So the center of excellence is actually a training area that just mimics someone's home. So we have Hoyer lifts, we have wheelchairs, we have walkers, we have the shower bench, we have gate belts. So it teaches the caregivers, to be comfortable and confident when they go into the home of transferring someone properly, how to utilize that equipment, but it's also open to families. So if families want to come in because they feel that they need to brush up on some things or they want to feel a little bit more comfortable, they are welcome to come in, use our center of excellence, and we will train them to be as confident at home as well.
Okay. So now I heard you mention a lot of equipment. So
Yes.
do you guys sell that equipment too, or is this just
So that you typically can get that through your insurance. You have to primarily have a physician's referral for most of that. So we don't sell it, but we do have it available so that you can utilize it if you want to, train on it to know how to use it with your loved one.
you know what, Jessica, what I found to be very helpful when my dad was ill, it was the belt. Like the belt that
Hmm.
you put around their waist and tighten it up real tight and kind of, and I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I was at home and I was helping mom care for him this many years ago, and they were just talking back and forth. He wanted to go use his bathroom in his room, but he had
Hmm.
gotten to a point that he gotten so weak that we had to get a hospital bed and put it in the living room. And so I slept in the living room where he was because I just wanted to be close to him. And so they were just kind of fussing back and forth. They woke me up, and I was like, Lord, I said, he's gonna fall. I know he's gonna fall. I want to go to my own bathroom. I want to go. I'm censoring what he said now and how he said it.
Right. Right.
Something like this. He wanted to go. And so all of a sudden I hear something just hit the floor, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I was sleeping in this big, huge, thirsty recliner. And so it takes like the act of Congress to get out of the recliner. It's so big. And so, but I jumped clean out the recliner. Girl, it was still reclined back. That's how scared I was about what happened. I said, oh my gosh. And so when I got up and noticed, and he had fallen because he didn't want mom to help him. And so he had fallen and he was wedged between the bed and the another recliner, which was right beside where mine was. And it was in such an awkward place. And I said, okay. I said, Lord have mercy, and it was just me. Mom couldn't help him. And so I had to figure this thing out. And so I really had to pray because he was so weak. I couldn't just pull him up naturally by the arms because I was afraid I may pull his arms out of socket or shoulder out of socket. And I didn't want to, add insult to injury. So I was just kind of sitting there and listening to God. And I was praying and I was kind of changing his sheets and all of that and just listening. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I was like, so what I did was put the belt around his waist. And so and I was able to tell, I said, well, mom, hold it up. So that belt was able to have him sitting up. And at that
Mhm.
time, sitting up and staying like that, I was able to kind of scoop my arms up under his arms and pick him up and move him to the bed. But
Yeah.
had I not had that belt, he probably would still be still be proud because I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? But it was
Right.
such a blessing to be able to have that belt because that I'm a firm believer. And if it hadn't been for that situation, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, the belt's good. No, no, that belt was very, very, very helpful. And you think about having these things but not knowing how to actually use them is very helpful. So I would admonish,
Yes.
I would recommend anybody to get with senior helpers, learn the equipment that's accessible to you, learn the equipment that's available to you. Another thing that was very helpful was the sheets, kind of those big sheets you put up under. And sometimes if they're in those hospital beds, I don't know what it is about this, but he always had a little tendency to slide down in the bed, and then his feet will be hitting the footboard. And I'm like, man, he's
Mhm.
kind of pull me up. So instead of me having to pick him up, I can get that sheet. I forgot what the name of it
Mhm.
is,
The
and I
draw sheet to pull it.
right. And so I could do that, and I could always pull him back up and get him situated, in the bed. And so that was something that was very helpful. I think it's just a lot of people that's not aware of all of these things that can help you as a caregiver so it can be easier for you to care for them. You don't have to pick them
Yes.
up and all of these things. Do you have? I wanted another thing I found to be helpful, Jessica, was the claws that already had the soap and everything to bathe them in, and you didn't have to rinse it off. Now, sometimes if it was a little soapy, I would still kind of rinse her off and put lotion on. But it was good to be able to have these big thirsty claws. To that, is that something that your
We don't have that in the Center of Excellence, primarily because it's not the bathroom portion of that. It's more of like, the bedroom, where you would be in the common area. But if we expand, as I would like, we can actually make a bathroom, put all of that in there to make sure that individuals,
Yeah.
see what it really looks like in their home, because that's the whole purpose of that, is giving you a true visual of what it looks like when you go into someone's home. So, but we can actually work on that. Yes, ma'am.
So, Jessica, let's say that somebody they're in a situation, and let's say they call me because I've had this happen before. They will call and say, "Hey, Clarissa, my mom is going to be moving in with us, and I don't even know the first thing to do. I don't know how to set my home up, any of these things. I need some advice." And so, can I refer them to you, and this will be something that you can take on? Is that a referral for you?
Yes, ma'am. You can refer them to senior helpers, and we can assist them with, going over perhaps what DME, durable medical equipment, they may need in the home, that may, cater to that loved one, because everybody doesn't need all the same equipment. So we do have a list of DME equipment that we feel, works best for families, and, what the insurance will cover. So you can actually refer them to us, and we can take it from there. That's what I usually tell people. You don't have to try to figure out all the answers to the questions. If someone is, lost, or they don't know where to begin or how to even start asking those questions, just tell them to give us a call. We'll take them from the beginning to the end.
Okay. Oh, I love it. I love what I'm hearing because those of us who have I didn't have that. We just start caring,
Right.
for my mother-in-law, but we just happened to know certain things, and my mom was a nurse, and so she could help with certain things, and we had good physicians and that sort of thing. We had a good caregiver at one time that assisted us from time to time. So but it's good to know that you are available, and I'm going to start referring people to senior helpers because you need to know these certain things don't come naturally. You need to know what to do. You need to know how to care. You need to know what services are out there. So I want to give some hellos to some people out here. Fifi Redmond is in the building. She says, "Hello, ladies room." Hello, Fifi. How's it going tonight? Also, Robbie, hello there. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Allison Sanders, she wants to know what motivated you to open senior helpers.
Well, I have always had a passion for helping the elderly population primarily. So, my background is in healthcare administration. I am a licensed nursing home administrator. So, I ran nursing homes for the last 12 years, and I knew that I wanted to do something different still with that same population. And I would always tell people that, we're forgetting the most important word in nursing home. It's home. This is their home. Home. So, with senior helpers and doing home care, I am now able to assist individuals in their home, allowing them to continue to maintain that independence, and stay safely in their home. The home where they raise their kids, where all the memories are. I am able to do that. So, I have always had a passion for this population, and it has just been a blessing, to be able to open senior helpers to allow individuals to get information that, we didn't know about before. And I enjoy every day that I go to work. I actually told my husband a couple of weeks ago, it doesn't feel like work to me.
Yeah.
I enjoy what I do so much. It's a blessing to be able to have conversations with individuals, to lead them in the right direction, to get them the care that they truly need. And so, I was just fortunate enough to be able to, uh, act on a dream that I have. And so it's been an amazing journey, and I am excited about what the future looks like.
Okay. When I hear you talk and I hear certain people talk, I'm reminded of A.G. Gaston. And A.G. Gaston says this: find a need and fill it. And so
Yeah.
it's very evident that by working in this industry for so long, you were able to see a need here in that industry. And so my mother,
Absolutely.
she started off
Absolutely.
in ER. She was a nurse. She started off in ER, then she went with the infants, and then she went to neuro, and she went to all of these things. And so she wrapped up her career in working in the nursing home. And some of the things that
Hmm.
you see, and she made sure that she would treat them like her family. That's just what
Right.
she did. And she made sure that people who worked under her did the same thing on her shift. And so you said something about home. It's very important, especially as um, people who have dementia and they're getting older. It's they become a little nervous of uncertainties, things that are uncertain things
Hmm.
happen to them that they can't
Right.
explain. It makes them a little nervous, and so when they're taken out of their home, or if they're abused or mistreated or misunderstood, it makes them feel like they're either a burden or it makes them feel like they're not being cared for. And so I love the fact that you're doing this. A friend of mine, Clarissa Smith, she came on a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about this very same thing. And she gave some statistics and said that a lot of elderly people sometimes are being um, abused in some type of way. And so they said that and if it's going to happen, most of it's from the female population because of the emotions, because of the stress that and the anxieties that come with caregiving. Do you have some type of outlet, some type of recommended outlet for people who are caregivers that are stressed? Sometimes it does get to be nerve. Sometimes you wish you didn't have to do these things. Can you give some type of a resource for the caregivers?
The Alabama Area on Aging, I feel, is a good resource. There's typically an area on aging in those prospective counties. So whatever county you live in, usually has an area on aging, and you can reach out to them for various resources they have to, direct families of, caregiving forums, platforms, how to deal with stress, how to deal with it before it gets to that point.
Right.
They have a ton of resources for the area on aging because they know that there are a lot of people taking care of that specific population, and that's what they do every day is assist with resources for that. So the
Mhm.
area on aging would be first on my list.
Gotcha. Now, this is a good question here. I have two. My cousin has one. Let's start with hers first. This might be out of the scope of things you may be able to refer. She said, "It will kill me to bring an action for a local parent." She's funny. My cousin is funny. She said she wants to stay in her house, but it might not be in her best interest. Can you speak on folks who need support in trying to get a loved one to be placed in assisted living facility without going to the court?
Yes, so I would say give them control, right? So let them feel that they are in control of it, get them to agree with you if you can. And I know that sometimes that's difficult, but once
Mm,
you explain to them, the safety issues that come with being at home, instead of just saying, well, you're going to go to this facility, give them an option to go around and visit those with you, meet with the team, ask questions, see how people interact. Let them feel that they're going to be, in the best situation and the best fit because every assisted living facility is not for that person, right? You have a certain group of people you want to be around, certain activities you may want to do every day. So I would give them the opportunity to go and visit as many as they want, see people when they're doing those activities, what that looks like, talk to some of the other residents. It's important to talk to the residents there as opposed to just the staff who are caring for them. Talk to the people that actually live there and see, how it works for them. They may meet a best friend and tell you they want to move in next week. But I have seen a lot of people have success with letting the family, the parent kind of take control of that as opposed to the daughter or the son telling them, because then, they'll say, well, I'm your mom, I'm your dad. You can't tell me what to do. And
mm,
they're kind of right, right? I mean, you're not out of your mind, but you want to make sure that they're safe. And when it boils down to it, the parents really don't want to stress the kids out. They don't want to put more on their baby than they have to. They don't want their baby trying to run back and forth, having them worried if they're going to fall at home and nobody's going to be there. So I have seen a lot of people have success with letting the parent kind of take the lead in that situation as opposed to us trying to be dictator and making sure that it gets done. So it's
Right.
worth a try, but I know that dealing with this population can be very difficult, and
Mm.
trying to convince someone to leave the home that they raised you in is not the easiest conversation to have, but it is possible.
Okay. Okay. I got another question. Okay. Hello. Do you have a website with your information? That is great information, and I can pass along to my patients. So
Yes,
get that.
we do have a website. Our website is seniorhelpers.com/AL/Pelham, PELHAM. Our office is in Pelham, but we serve Shelby and Jefferson County.
It's seniorhelpers.com.
Seniorhelpers.com/AL/Pelham, PELHAM.
Is it forward slash or back? Forward slash
Back.
back. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
And
seniorhelpers.com/AL/Pelham. Sorry.
let's see. There we go. Is that it, Jessica?
That's it. Yes, ma'am. That's it.
We're gonna leave that up for a minute there, Robbie. So you can have that. And I see Ernest put that in there for us as well. Thank you, sir. Okay, very good. So, Robbie, we're going to leave this up for you and for all the others who are listening here tonight who need this assistance. Go out to seniorhelpers.com/AL/Pelham. That's going to get you to the information you need. Get signed up for a consult. And yes, Robbie, this will be great for you to forward to and pass along to your patients. Thank you so much for getting this information to them. All right, let's see here for a second. Allison says there is an increase of our elder hostel community. It's wonderful to offer services for the elderly as well as resources and relief for caregivers. Absolutely. But I had a question for you. I remember going, I think I asked this to Clarissa too. I remember going to the doctor's office. I had an appointment there, and a lady walked in, and she was wanting to get an appointment set up. And so the ladies at the front, those younger girls, they were so rude to the lady. And they said, well, hey, we can't do anything for you. You got to go online and schedule your appointment. And so you could tell that number one, she was technically challenged, and that she was embarrassed that she was, and she was too embarrassed to say, hey, I don't know how to work the computer. Can you help me? And so these girls never offered additional assistance, never said, let me help you, never said, we can get you set up here, never gave her an option. It was just either you do it this way or not. And so I thought that was very disheartening that they did not go that extra mile in customer service to say, or even notice the fact that, I mean, I'm just sitting in the waiting room and I noticed that clearly she's not very
Mhm.
knowledgeable computer. So do you offer these types of services as well? Maybe, I think you mentioned something about a companion service about
Yes,
companion
we do
service.
companion care, and it's funny that you mentioned that. One of the clients that we have is, I think she's around 86.
Okay.
And I was just checking on her first week, asking her how things went with her caregiver, and she said, "Oh my God, she's great. She even helped me fix my phone." Right? So as we're there, assisting and taking care of you, that she needed to go upstairs and get a bath. So after you get that, we can come down and we can help you get that phone set up, understand what you're working with. So yes, we can help them, navigate their cell phones, emails. Now, some people just don't want to touch technology, and that is
Right.
completely fine. But we truly meet them where they are. So if it doesn't work for you, if you're not comfortable, you know, you want to do things the way that works best for you, then that's what we're going to do. We're not going to force you to come into this technologically advanced world and do things our way. We want you to feel comfortable doing it. But if you need help, let us know. We can help troubleshoot cell phones. We've been doing it. So
See, I
not a
love it.
problem.
I love it. I
Not a
love
problem.
what I'm hearing. The fact that you have that companion there, because sometimes they're just lonely. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, or need help cooking, or want to try a new recipe, or just want to go hang out and go someplace where they don't drive at night.
Hmm.
It's good to know that
Right.
you provide those services for them, because sometimes parents live one place and then the kids may live in a whole nother state, but they don't want their kids, like you said some earlier, they don't want to
Hmm.
bother the kids or let them know that there is some form of help that they
Right.
need. And if they can get this help, this is just wonderful. Shavonda said that she's going to send some folks your way. She's a very big supporter of the Ladies Room Talk since she comes in every Monday to hear us. And so she's very well connected in the community and with a lot of people. So I know that she's definitely going to do that. I'm glad
Thank
that
you.
Robbie will be getting that information out as well. So we appreciate that. Robbie says, if not covered by insurance, are there any other options? Good question.
The only other option would be private pay or looking into aid and attendance if the individual is a veteran, war veteran themselves or the spouse. So the spouse can still get those benefits off of that war veteran. So I would look into aid and attendance for the VA. And I would just, look in the option of Medicare. They have traditional Medicare, not the Humana that we were talking about earlier, but if they have traditional Medicare with a dementia diagnosis, I would look currently out. But outside of that, private pay would be the only other option.
Okay. Very good. I love it. So now what we do as we wrap up our show, Jessica, we love to have our guests to give an encouraging word at the end. And so normally what I'll do, I'll just kind of pop off and kind of let you have it there for a minute and then I'll pop back on. But if you can give an encouraging word to our caregivers out here, our caregivers who are out here, I call it on the front line of caregiving, because you're going to take all the blows. Anything that's going to come, you're going to take it first.
You
And so,
are.
yeah,
You
you
know,
really are.
just I tell people all the time in interviews that we can teach you how to use things. We can teach you skill set, but we can't teach you empathy and compassion. So, as you're caring for someone that is primarily probably the person that cared for you, your entire childhood, I would just say love what you do. And that's just spreading love to someone else. That's being a caregiver, maybe to, a friend or a family, but love what you do. And it will exude off of you, and people will see that in the care that you provide. So that would be my encouraging word: is to just love what you do, because it's such a huge need for this population. And I think that a lot of people don't give enough credit to the individuals that are actually providing that care, because they truly love it. You have to love this industry to show up and do, this hard work every day. And I love what I do. And so I am just fortunate to be around individuals that love it as well. So just love what you
I love it. Beautiful, beautiful words of encouragement for all of our caregivers out there. You're on the front line. You are putting your life on the line for your loved ones and your family. And, we pray that you will continue to have the resilience and the stamina that you need in order to do the things you need to do for your parents and for your loved ones. So know that there's resources out here. Know that Senior Helpers is here for you to help you all the way along the whole way. Senior Helpers is here and available for you. So we had the website up, and also someone put the website in the chat. So go down and grab that. Get out there and call Jessica so she can help you and
do.
stop struggling. Stop struggling. worried about stuff you don't have to worry about or be concerned about on your own. So reach out to Jessica and hit her up so she can help you and get that assessment that you need to be the best caregiver you possibly can without burnout. Okay. All
Yes.
right, Jessica, thank you again for hanging out with us inside the ladies'
Thank
room.
you.
We enjoyed you, and we certainly hope this is not going to be your last time coming in. We're very excited. Hello, my sister Juliet. Love you, girl. Thanks for coming in. She says, what a blessed service. Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
awesome. It's awesome. All right, guys. As always, thank you so much for hanging out inside the Ladies Room Talk Show. We could not be who we are without your help and without your support. We're celebrating 10 amazing years in the Ladies Room. Can you believe it? 10 solid years of coming on every Monday night at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you go out there to our Facebook page, you will see the blast from the past. You'll see some of our old things that we've done with previous shows and all of that. They're putting that out there on the Facebook pages and Instagram. So go out there and check it out. It's pretty cool. I forgot about half the stuff I did over the past 10 years. It's really super cool. So we hope to have something kind of special for you. 10 years in September will mark the actual 10th year. And so hopefully we'll have some super cool things coming down the pipeline to celebrate 10 years. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Jessica, kudos to you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Much success to your
Thank you.
your business. And we pray that people will be able to reach out to you from this show in order to get the help that they need. Okay. Oh, she got stuck out there. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful and safe week. And we'll see you back here next Monday.
I'm here.
Okay. We'll see you back here next Monday, 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Good night. Stay safe and stay the course.
Step into the ladies' room with Clarissa.